This is The Real Gig with Bret Alexander.
Jeffrey, how are you,
Bret,
my friend?
I am doing good.
I promised you I'd have you. You've had me on your show many times, so I promised you I'd have you on, and I'd interview you for once. So that's what this is, okay?
I'm very grateful to be here.
Yeah.
I can't even say how happy I am to be here, and I want to thank everybody else here that helps put this thing together. I'm very grateful.
Super cool spot.
Very grateful.
Yeah, this is a super cool spot. I love it here. Yeah, I'll just kind of give a little bit of background. I would say you're more from I've done a lot of recording. I was never been like a metal musician, but I've done a lot of recording of like metal bands and that whole community. And you're probably one of my earliest sessions that I ever did, because I'm always telling people the lore of the studio here. Mm-hmm. And 30 plus years. You were pretty early on when I got here.
1987.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's when we did the White Witch first album.
Yeah, and you had recorded that somewhere else, as I remember.
Well, we started the process of recording it, but we only had a couple songs, and they were, and I thought I got to go down there and get this done the proper way. Bob Spangler was here then, and he helped me mix that, and you came in the middle of that. Yeah,
I came in the middle and did some recording, and kind of, it was kind of enhanced what you guys already had done.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes. You're working on a record and you're starting one place, and then for whatever reason you move studios, and now it's like everything's done. A lot of things are done at home, and there's just like an emailing situation that goes back. It might be done at 17 different houses.
Yeah.
And so it's like a different game now. But back then, that was really early on, and that was really early on for me. As a recording engineer, not as a musician. I've been playing in bands and bars and things for several years. Yeah. But that was pretty early. It was like early clients would have been like you guys, David Rose Band. You probably remember David.
I miss David. He was such a great guy.
Great player. Great musician.
Oh my God. He was a walking dictionary.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, in all sense of that term, and nobody could tell a story like David. He was so animated and such a fun guy to be around.
Yeah. So like a lot of those guys from that sort of central PA scene are all from your area. I mean, Tim Breon, who I've seen, he's kind of circled back around a couple times. I saw him here a few weeks ago. Yeah. About a month ago, maybe.
He's one of the most underrated musicians. Oh my gosh, is he talented.
He makes me sick.
Wow.
Yeah. He makes me ill. He's so good.
He played. In fact, we did that Dio tune, "The Last in Line." Yeah, and he did guitar.
Yeah.
For that. We're still working on it.
Yeah, he did that, and and he was here playing upright bass last time I saw him.
Oh yeah,
a month ago. Yeah, so
he teaches music at the can't think of the name, but Symphony Orchestra up there.
Yeah, up there. Yeah,
the Williamsport Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah, and that's wild. And he's a great dude and great player. Kimbo Reichley, I'm sure you know Kimbo.
Yep.
And and all your guys. So let me just kind of starting at the beginning. Explain to me a little bit. And so there was bands. There would have been like you guys, like the White Witch guys. There would have been like Harpo, Dirty Looks. Jack's been on here. I would put them more in the hard rock category than metal necessarily. Harpo. There was like a whole
Hybrid Ice.
There was a band from
Dirty Looks.
Well, Dirty Looks was Jack as well.
Yeah.
And like Northeast PA, there was another band called I didn't know those guys, but one of them ended up playing in Man of War.
I don't know.
Archangel. Right?
Yeah, there was a band called Archangel.
Yeah, up there. Yeah. So there was like a handful of these sort of. I mean, talk about that scene. What was that like?
Well, the 80s were wild. It was a pretty wild scene. Yeah. And back then, like the bands we just named, we would go, like there was a club in Montoursville called Dinks, and great club. We would go back and forth trying to break each other's attendance records. Mm-hmm. One band would have like 418, and then we'd get like 428, and it was just fun playing because it wasn't a bad thing. It was a good rivalry thing. It kept the music scene. It kept it. Things were busy back then. I mean, the bars would be full to it'd be 6-7 rows deep at the bar, and there you couldn't hardly anywhere to walk. And life was just good back then. Nobody argued about anything political. Back then, when there was a president, that regardless of what side, the country stood behind him. Nobody ever argued at all in public, never once. And me and Doug talk about it. Life was so much better back then. Yeah. It was just good and wholesome, and
cocaine and all that, but
well, that's a whole other story. You're talking to a guy 80s, that's probably done more cocaine and had more sex with girls and I'm not even good looking. I'm not even well endowed, and I'm talking outrageous amounts. I mean, like almost 70, and for every one I did, I turned 4 or 5 away. So there could be hundreds. Imagine if I was good looking. The one good news is
you're in a metal band. You're in a metal band, man. Well, it was
metal and hard rock, but I never made any kids. There's no kids running around.
There's no little Jeffries. That's probably a blessing.
Yeah. The world's not ready for no one. It's not a good thing. But it's just that's what it was. I mean, I'm just going to say this. Like at that club I just mentioned, at the end of the night, my bouncers were my best friends, Crazy Eddie and Jack Donnelly and those guys. There could be a guy there with a brand new Porsche, and he's got 20 grand in his pocket. I can be sitting there with whatever car I was driving at the time, and have a big bag of cocaine. At the end of the night, the prettiest girl, we waited out whether she's going to leave with the guy with all the money and new car or leave with me. And almost every single time they left with me. And it's not because I was good looking. It was because I was in a singer and I had a bag of you-know-what. And that's just how it was back then. I'm being totally, brutally honest. And I don't have a problem with being honest. And that's just the way it was back then. And it was just I know that just doesn't sound really good, but it was a great time in my life.
Yeah.
And surviving it was even a better time in my life because
had you not survived, yes.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was bad there for a while. I was in and out of rehabs, a couple mental institutions. It was dreadful.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get out of it. And then one night I came home from a rehab, and it was in the middle of winter. And I have a farmhouse, which I live right across the road from now. And out there, it was the only house on the road, and it's surrounded by a couple hundred acres. So it's you're by yourself. And I came home, and on my way home, I picked up my puppy because I'd been waiting to get it. And I came home, and I was shaking really bad because I opened up my door, went in the house, and there's people, some of my so-called friends had trashed my house. They were partying while I was gone. And I was shaking really, really bad. I had tears running down my face. I didn't know what I was doing. I went outside. It was like cold. It was like zero cold. And I was shaking really bad. And I said, God, I need your help really, really bad. I said, I need a name for my puppy, and I need your help. And within 30 seconds, something hit me. And I looked up, and I saw one really bright star in the sky. And that's what I named my dog. And I felt better. I wasn't even cold. It was an incredible feeling that I had to tell this because
I know that. I knew that dog, right?
Well, this is the thing. I've kept the name now. I've had 4 white, but these last 3, I kept the name, the Star, because it has inspired me. And this October 5th, I'll have 20 years clean and sober.
Yeah.
Now, I do smoke pot once in a while just so I can, and my doctors know that, just so I can deal with things.
Yeah, sure.
The world.
Yeah.
Because the world's pretty crazy, at least the one I'm living in.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of things happened in my life, but now that I'm clean and sober, the world is a great place. I've managed to keep all my friends, except for a lot of my friends have died and passed away. And, but I've managed to keep on track. My parents love me. And everyone that stands in front of me knows they can trust me with anything.
Yeah.
And I like the way that feels.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I walk into a studio or I walk into somewhere and people look at me, it makes me feel good because they know that I'm trying really, really hard to make a go at this. And I still think my best days are ahead of me. I think the best things that are going to happen to me have not happened yet.
That's a good outlook to have.
And you'll be a part of some of that.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
I'm going to quote Jeremy. Jeremy's like my favorite Jeremy quote of all time as far as art or dealings. When he'd play on your records or something, he just kind of sighed and go, "Jeff, you're growing on me." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
And over time, it's like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I love Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy's a good man.
Such a good dude.
He is a good guy.
That is one of the things that God...
Great player. Unbelievable.
God has put some great, great people in my life. You and Jeremy and all my other bandmates. And this just gives you a little bit about me. The band White Witch has been together since the late fall of '84. We have never had an argument where we called each other names or disrespected each other. Yeah. Not one time. Now, we did have to let our bass player go because I'm not even going to get into that. Sure. But and we plugged in a couple people that were outstanding human beings, and we never missed a beat. But I've been blessed, man, to still have all my friends. They still look up to me as like an respectful way.
Sure.
And that's all that really matters to me, because I'm not running for a popularity contest, and I have no intentions of running for any political offices. I just want to be around the best people I can and make music and videos and run TV.
Sure. Yeah.
That's all I got a great dog. All my parents are like I was telling you. My real dad will be 90 October 15th. My other stepdad is 91. He's getting radiation in the back of his head. We just had to put my stepmom in a special care home, and my other mom's trouble, but they're all still alive.
Yeah, they're all kicking.
And that's amazing.
Yeah, good stuff.
That is absolutely amazing. So I'm super blessed with that. And again, I got to mention my dog. Her name is Star, White German Shepherd.
Third generation.
Third one.
Yeah.
And I don't go. I haven't been on a vacation, and I don't even know how many. I don't even know what a vacation. I don't go nowhere. I don't waste money on. To me, it is. Now, I'm sure this is going to make some people mad, but things like tattoos and to me, that's a waste of money because I can use it to further my music stuff or things like that. Now, I like them, and when I lived in Arizona, I spent hundreds of hours in tat parlors, just sitting and talking. And I had lots of chances to get inked, but I tell them I'm covered with scars, and I really am, front and back.
Yeah.
And I've been in a lot of things, and scars tell better stories than tattoos.
Yeah, sure.
That's just in my opinion now.
Sure.
And when I see a nice one, I'll say, "Wow, that's a great tat," but I just don't want to have it on me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just different.
Yeah. One of my kids has several, and one of my kid has none. My wife has lots of them. I have none. I don't have any problems. You know what I mean? So.
What's weird with the band White Witch? I want to say this. Nobody in the band White Witch has a tattoo, and it was never discussed, and it was never even talked about. It just worked out that way, and that's you would think that a band named White Witch with the tracks that we've been down, you would think that, but it's just weird how that worked out that way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you guys, at the end of the day, you're like survivors. Everybody's made it through the other side. Not everybody does. You know what I mean? I spent a lot of time with a lot of musicians, and you see. I was never really, I was not at all. I wasn't a drug person.
I know that.
I ever, myself, but I've made my life as a musician. So
you have done very well.
So that's been my
You don't have an enemy in the whole world.
Oh, I have a couple. You don't
Do
know.
you?
Yeah. If you don't have any, you're not doing something.
All my enemies are already dead.
If you're not doing, if you don't have a few,
one of them.
if you don't have some, you're not doing something right.
No, I had a few, but they ain't around.
So I mean, okay, so like you really backing up to what I was saying about the 1980s and like the hard rock metal scene and all these. I mean, like here, it's a lot different now than it was then. I mean, it used to be there wasn't, the DUIs weren't as much of a big thing. There was clubs full of people. There weren't as many distractions. You just don't see clubs filled with people like that. I mean, certainly festivals and big events, and I mean just generally the general public out to see 500 people in a club to see an original band play on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I mean, in Pennsylvania, you used to see that. I don't, if that's going on regularly now, I'm not aware.
I'm not aware
of that happening on a regular basis. I'm not saying it don't, I don't exactly, old man that I am, have my finger on the pulse of what's going on in the clubs these days, but
you're accurate. It
was a lot different than things kind of changed as the 90s was sort of like there was a pretty good bump then when all that kind of thing happened. Then it just it changed over time. It changed. You just didn't. I mean, when I moved to northeastern PA, like Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could go out to a bar 6 nights a week and see, rock, country, metal, whatever you wanted to see. Every night of the week, you could find somebody somewhere playing full band, full PA, big stage.
Big production.
Big production.
Yep.
Maybe you see, a trio with the PA on sticks, playing normally. Yeah. I'm not saying those big production shows don't. I played one on Saturday, but typically they don't happen all the time.
The two things are number one and number two reason things that really killed the music scene.
Yeah.
The COVID thing, we that was just crazy, the whole thing, and the DUI laws.
Yeah.
Those two things have crippled the music business. It just never recovered from that.
I think it's distraction. I mean, it's just like, when we were like in the 1980s, you were playing and there's no internet.
No.
Like our generation grew up without the internet.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily think that, obviously, the technology is unbelievable and everything, AI, I don't want to sit like an old man saying things were better way back when, but at the same time, it was different. It was a different proposition. First of all, there weren't as many choices, of things to do.
Yeah.
Your parents sent you out the door in the morning and you came home at night and they didn't know where you were because you didn't have a cell phone, and
if you didn't get home for dinner, you didn't eat.
Yeah, things like that. So I don't want to be that way about it, but it was a different time, and there really was, putting yourself out there before social media was a different proposition than it is now.
Yep.
You could kind of grow and find your way without having there being a detailed record of it. Every step along the way,
yep.
And people commenting, because people get more mean-spirited about, people trying to create or put themselves out there, put out what they do. That it didn't used to be that you could kind of develop and sort of off to the side and playing clubs and doing whatever you wanted to do. You could kind of develop your thing and get it together and not have to worry about, the vitriol of the,
I know what you mean.
Of the public.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could kind of just find your way and it was fun.
The 80s, I have to say this. I am so blessed to be born in a time, 1961, I got to see all the great baseball players' baseball games, every great player football games, all the NASCAR, the good stuff, football, baseball, basketball, everything that I like. The Purple People Eaters, the Steel Curtain, the different great names of defenses for football teams back in the 70s and 80s.
Like the Vikings and the Steelers.
The Purple People Eaters were the Vikings, Bud Grant was a legendary football coach.
Yeah.
And back then you get to watch these guys like John Madden, some of the battles that Madden and Bud Grant, they were legend. Look at these goosebumps.
Like, yeah.
They were legendary battles that like Earl Weaver and the Orioles in the 1970, and the Big Red Machine of Cincinnati. I mean, I know this is a little off track from music, but it still deserves to be mentioned. At least to me, it is. All the great things in the late 60s, 70s, I got to see it all for free, just for being here. And I tell people that are really get depressed and stuff, because I've had a lot of problems with depression, you got to be grateful for the things you have and the things you've experienced, and not be so caught up on, well, I don't have anything, I don't have enough going on now, I don't have this, or I don't have. Be grateful for the things you've had, the things you have now.
Yeah. Because
one day you won't have any of it.
Yeah, sure.
And you just, and another thing is, back then everybody respected their elders, and they respected each other. They held the door open at the grocery store and said thank you. Things like that. Nowadays, you're on your own when you go in a store. You know what I mean? It's just people just aren't built the way they were back then. At least not the way I see it. And it's a shame, because that was a great life back then. And I'm hoping that more people start to care for each other a little bit more. And
I think they do.
Huh?
I think they do. Yeah, I mean, it's just different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just different.
It's kind of weird. And, I just wish people would respect each other more and take a little more interest and not be so competitive. Like, I'll say not a lot, but some bands out there, when you see people posting stuff on social media, if it doesn't involve them or it doesn't have anything to do with them, they just won't support it and they won't share it. They won't.
Yeah.
And that's not right. I try to promote every band that gets in front of me if they have the talent.
Okay.
And
that's a good segue. Let's talk about that, because you kind of did the White Witch thing, which still kind of carries through, and all the way I was talking to Barb Morrison here a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying all these things from your early days, you think that your career kind of goes forward and all these things don't necessarily get carried with you. A lot of the people, we kind of went way back, and Barb was saying the same thing. Like Barb said that she was in braces, when she last worked with,
Yep.
When they last worked with some of these people that they're currently working with, you know what I mean? So that kind of stuff lasts a lifetime. And so the White Witch thing, then, you've done different projects over time, some charity work, like the Monster Truck supergroup stuff, kind of like a sort of a collective of musicians playing a few shows in, kind of a revolving door of people. And, you've done some of it here, some of the charity work that you've done over time for that. And, brings me to kind of like present day. You were doing like the Pennsylvania Pipeline, like the TV station, like a web TV sort of showcasing regional talent. And you literally do it in a garage. It's like literally garage band.
It's Frank Zappa, Joe's Garage, except it's souped up.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And you go in there, and it's like there's like a light show and fog and like a back line.
I got a pretty wicked light show. I have a big old generator out in the powerhouse.
Yeah.
That I run because it takes 220 just to fire my light show up.
Yeah. So why did you do that? Why'd you get into that?
Well, I wasn't able to. Doug lives in Florida.
Yeah.
For White Witch and travel.
Yeah, guitar player. Yeah.
And I couldn't get him up here to play as much as I want. And I started the band, the Betty Ford All Stars.
Yeah.
So I have another. Yeah. I love the name. A lot of people say, like, what? And I say it again. That is a great name. I can't tell how many people said it, but because I needed another outlet, because I'm a singer, and singers are like thoroughbred horses. They like to run, and they don't like being sitting in a thing all the time. And I needed outlets, and I talked to some people that own TV stations, and they said, you know, you ought to consider something like that. And I milled it around for a while, and then, you know, started thinking of all kinds of possibilities. So we had some Amish dudes come up and build a custom garage there. And, you know, 10 and a half years later, I would have never thought it would still be going on Real TV, WHBL, and State College. And I'll be adding a couple more, but to have an outlet to bring bands and artists in an area where the only other human beings they're going to see is my dad.
Well, where you're doing it,
yeah. I mean, we got bears, every kind of animal. You can sit right there. I mean, sitting just like this at my desk. I post pictures of bears and turkeys and deer all the time because they're only from just one steps in the garage.
Not while the musicians were playing, though.
No, just me and my dog was laying in there and stepped right in there. My dog flipped out. She chased it away, but it's having people come out there, because some of the people that come out is like, you know, I'd pay good money just to come out here and sit for a few hours with my wife and kids.
Yeah,
because it's a real nice place.
Yeah,
if you like the outdoors, because there's nothing.
Yeah, it is. It's out in the country, up on the hill there. Yeah,
and I got a big garden. I make my own spaghetti sauce and salsa. And I'm into it big time.
Yeah.
And I just like living like they did centuries, a century ago.
Except light shows and fog.
Yeah, except for that. Because I'm real old school. I'm like the Alice Cooper, Ozzy. Yeah. God bless Ozzy. I miss you, buddy. And actually, that brings me to another thing. I'm actually doing an Ozzy tribute thing, where I've had bands send me videos that they performed live. I'm going to plug some of those in. I'm having bands come out at different scheduled times to do sessions to record Ozzy songs. So I'm compiling this thing over the next 2 months.
Nice.
I had an event, and it got rained real hard, so we only had a couple artists there, but you can't physically get all the stuff together in a 5-hour period and expect it to be good, because there's interviews, best Ozzy stories, different bands do different songs. On the 26th, I picked together a couple musicians, and we're going to do 3 Ozzy songs.
Oh, nice.
Because he happens to be one of my best voices. And so I want to do that for him, and I'm going to put out here, probably around Christmas time, I'll put out the whole thing mixed together and edited nice. And then I'm going to send it to Sharon, and I just, him and Alice Cooper have affected my life more than any two people. I mean, I'm talking about anybody, presidents. Those two have drugged me out of so many bad times where I was.
I heard this cool Alice Cooper story, and it was an interview with Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper said that, like, when he came out, misunderstood. People didn't get it, at first. But he said he went backstage, and his early supporters were all like old vaudeville guys. Mm-hmm. Like early supporters, like before he was famous or anything. People coming to see Alice Cooper were, Groucho Marx and George Burns.
He was great friends with Groucho, all those big stars, and
yeah, because they kind of recognized it was vaudeville to them. You know what I mean? Like, to them, it wasn't like shock rock or whatever the term would be that you would call that to them. And he said George Burns kind of pulled him aside and said, yeah, me and Gracie used to do the guillotine thing in the 30s.
Yeah.
So it's like, that cracks me up, and it's like the perception of that at the time was probably, the public at large would have kind of looked at it as somewhat shocking, but you have all these guys, a generation before him, that are like, oh yeah, man, I totally get what's going on here. You know what I mean? And I think that's cool. I mean, I thought that was a cool story. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yep, he had all the people back then that you'd never. I mean, they'd be at parties and Groucho would be trying to hang out with Alice all the time and talk. That for some reason there was some kind of connection there. They became friends, and George, all those people back then, they all really liked Alice, and they saw the side of him that, because there's many sides of Alice.
Yeah.
And he actually had a song called Identity Crisis.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, he just, for me, you know, a couple times, this is a sad thing. One night out there in the farmhouse, I was all alone and I was out of it. And I literally had a 10 gauge pointed right up my head. And I was shaking real bad. I was all alone. And I was ready to go. And I pulled out that song, Hello, Hooray.
Yeah.
And although he didn't write that song, he did make it, brought it to light. Mm-hmm. And the song Hello, Hooray has saved my life twice.
Yeah. And
no other artist have stepped up to me and done anything like that for me. Honest to God, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Alice Cooper.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
That is a fact.
That's cool. That's
how much I love the guy.
Yeah. Awesome. I think we about covered it here, Jeffrey.
I want to thank you again, Bret. I want to thank everybody here. I hope I didn't say anything that was, you know, but I'm just me, man. I'm just me.
Give it to me.
I love you, bro.
Love you too. Thank you.
This podcast was produced by Stone State Entertainment.